Oops, daisy. Alright, good afternoon, everybody. Link in the description. So, anyhow, doing my usual pointing, clicking, and browsing, and sure enough, I come across an article that brings up some old stuff. And apparently, it also is another example of what is and is not protected by freedom of speech. So, clearly this was a couple years back, or a few years back rather, during the Biden administration. And the whole, race car driver, I think his name is Brand. No, I know his first name is Brandon, but the announcers thought the audience was saying, let's go Brandon, but they were actually saying Biden. And I'm guessing there was merchandise for that, and to school students, what merchandise to school, I said, let's go Brandon. And while technically not vulgar in of itself, it's basically linked to something that is. And, again, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's a violation of freedom of speech, or do you think it's basically schools basically have their dress code policy, and every school has that? I know, simple solution, school uniforms solves that problem. But anyhow, the Supreme Court upheld it. I guess some others tried to fucking sue or whatever, but the Supreme Court upheld it, and it was probably deemed as speech that is vulgar, and in a institution where there's rules and guidelines. Whatever reason they had, it was upheld. And needless to say, the mothers didn't like that too much. They upheld the ban. Meaning, politics shouldn't really belong in a school, especially considering you can't vote until you're 18. So I digress on that one. I mean, if it's part of a lesson, like a history lesson, okay, yeah, I can understand that. But if it's just, ooh, look at all the birds, if it's just somebody trying to make a statement in school, things like that have always been in place. If something is deemed offensive and it's written in their handbook, I imagine if it's written in their handbook, if it disrupts the environment, then the student can be held accountable. I mean, yeah, well, it's mostly, geared towards, female students rather than males, but that's a whole nother topic in itself. I'm not going to get into that. But even back in my days, there was plenty of times where a student had to flip their shirt inside out, or get sent home and put on a different shirt because the shirt was disrupting to the learning environment. And that's just the way it is. Anyhow, this one's actually going to be a shorter video than the last one. And over and out. I'll talk to you.